Welcome to the Y'all Need Music podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse.
What's up, you guys? What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Y'all see
So,
it?
yeah, we got special guest
Yeah.
Bear Bailey in the house today.
Yes, indeed.
How's
Yes,
it going,
sir.
Bear?
It is going wonderful, man. I am super, super honored to be on Y'all Need Music, and I'm ready to rock and roll with you guys, man.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you,
Awesome.
man. I know for me, it's been a minute since the first time that I seen one of your videos, and even though we do a lot of country music stuff on this podcast, I grew up listening to a lot of other music,
Yeah.
and it was not country music that caught my attention on social media with you. I'm pretty sure it was All My Life was one of the first ones I
That's a good
seen,
one.
or might have been Casey and JoJo. I don't know. It was early on, and it was just like, wait a minute, who the hell
He
is
had the,
this dude?
he had the big old beard.
That's it, man. And I tell you what, it's funny because a lot of people say country, and I kind of just got put into that genre because I am a country guy. But I am more of a soulful R&B, gospel, blues singer all day long. So I love country music as well, and it's in my wheelhouse.
For
But
sure.
I absolutely would classify myself as R&B, gospel, soulful sound all day. I just happen to be from the sticks, you know.
Right, right.
Right.
No, I get that, and it sounds like music's been a part of your life early on, right?
Always, man. Since I was a kid, my mom, she was a choir singer at our church, and I used to just look up to her. I still look up to her in a lot of ways, but I looked up to her musically forever. And then she
Nice.
wasn't a stage mom in a sense that she pushed me into it. She never had to. It was always an itch I couldn't scratch. And so, yeah, I've been singing forever.
Nice. And she just kind of welcomed that passion of
Oh
yours.
yeah, man. She stewarded that very well in me at a young age. And I started singing in church, man, like most of us singers do, you know.
Right. Well, and
Nice.
I'm not trying to age you at all, but rumor has it that you used to walk around with a Walkman singing songs at the bus stop
Oh
even.
Lord, you've talked to somebody. I sure did, man. I had the Walkman, but we were too broke to we had what we needed. Like I didn't starve or anything, but I was raised up poor. I mean, we didn't have anything. I had what I needed, but that's it. And so
Right.
the CD player I had, it was old gray Sony CD player with the hard plastic buttons on the outside and that one tiny little screen that's about
Nice.
this big. And it was I couldn't afford the non-skip one, so I wrapped cloth around it and duct taped it and stick it in my pocket so it wouldn't bounce and jack up the there was a little laser eye on the inside that would jargle and it would skip
Right.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So that's
The
kind
old
of the way
Sony
I grew
Discman.
up. Myself, I grew up. My dad was a hard working dude at a paper mill.
Okay.
But we weren't poor, but we didn't have a bunch of extras while all the other kids had all the new gaming systems and stuff. That wasn't a thing in our house growing up, and it was like, you guys want something, you need to get yourself a little job, paper route,
Heck yeah,
something. You
man.
need to make your own spending money.
I know all about that. My first job was working at an AMC Palace Theater, and I was on the cleanup crew. I would come in after everybody would clean after the you know how it is. People just dump their cokes and their popcorn everywhere, and yeah.
Yep.
So now I'm a stickler for keeping them things clean, man. I can't help it.
Right. So from like the time leading up to like going viral, right? You were working welding, right? Is that my understanding is
I
correct?
was welding in Unalaska, which is off the Aleutian Isles
Oh,
off of
wow.
Alaska. Yeah.
Oh, way up
Nice.
there.
I lost your buddy down at the bottom.
Am I back
Oh,
now?
did he fall off your
Yeah,
screen?
he's gone.
Am I
Uh-oh.
back
Yeah, I see
on?
him on mine.
Nope, he's gone.
That's weird.
And we got that business connection Wi-Fi over here, so I know it's not that.
Yeah, no, no, we'll keep going and he'll get back in. I can see him on my end. I don't know if he had like a lag
I
issue,
can't
but
see him
we'll
yet.
just
Yeah,
keep rolling with it.
I had to swap my internet out real quick. I was getting a slow connection,
Gosh, that
and
probably
they
was what
must
it
be
was.
streaming some YouTube inside. They're probably watching some Bear Bailey inside. So,
Well, I can hear you just fine.
all
So
right, all right.
you know you blew up and then you kind of started doing you know some music kind of for a living at that point, right?
Yes,
After going viral.
I did,
All
man.
right. And how did that go at first? Was it a little bit rocky?
Man, so I was actually home when, and I was fixing to have to go back to Alaska, to Unalaska. It's the Aleutian Isles, like I was saying. I was fixing to have to go back. I was 4 days from having to go back, and the girls in the gas station were my friends. They're like my sisters. Their name is Ashley and Renee. And then
Okay.
my fiance, she's another Ashley. She does the other voice that y'all hear. So there's three voices that y'all hear. Excuse me. We keep it real around here. I just burped. God bless me. So
No worries.
so I was about to have to go back, man, and I was just bummed out. And I just walked up there one night and I said, you know what? I said, they were like, Barry, can you sing? And I said, yeah, I'll sing. I said, but this time film it, hold my phone. The whole idea was my idea. I handed them the phone, and my sisters, they were like, they're like my sisters, right? My sister from another mister. And they literally said, okay, we'll do that. But these people in here don't listen to that type of music. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, let's just go. So I did it. And literally, man, overnight that thing blew up. I mean, it just went crazy. And then look, we got our boy back. And then it just went
Yeah.
crazy. And I literally, man, felt from the Lord. I felt God speak to me and just tell me, hey, you need to pursue this. Because I mean it happened that fast. And man, I did. I quit my job and I pursued this, and I was obedient, man, and I just listened to God, and it totally changed my life. 100%.
That's incredible. So it hasn't always been you know, rainbows and sunshine though, right?
No, it has not, man. You're looking at a an ex drug addict, ex alcoholic. Um, I was never a mean or hateful person or facetious or anything like that or malicious. I've always had a really big heart. I just struggled internally, man. I battled depression and um, I'll tell you guys, when you have a talent that is big inside of you, but you feel like you're doing nothing with it, just that by itself can make you feel super depressed. And we all have those times in our life where we're like, man, I just feel like I'm treading water. I feel like I'm not going anywhere. And I was just in that place,
Right.
and it was not easy, man. It was I guess I was just really in a stagnant place, and we all know about stagnation, and I was just in that place, and if stagnation is even a freaking word. But I was in that place, and man, God totally redeemed me. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I am a Christian. I believe in the good Lord all the way. If it wasn't for Him, I would not be here today. And I have no doubt of that in my mind. The person you see sitting before you right now is night and day different from the person I used to be, and I'm just happier, man. I'm filled with His purpose, and I gave God permission to be behind the steering wheel of my life, and I'm letting Him drive me to whatever destination He wants, bro.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a lot you know, over time with the podcast about mental health and oddly enough about addiction. My my own brother drank himself to death
Man, I'm so sorry to hear
in
that, man.
August of last
So
year.
sorry.
um and thank you. So you know, it's something that hits everybody, right? So it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter whether you come from money, whether you're poor, whether you're black, white, male, female. You know, mental health is real, and
Very real.
unfortunately a lot of people choose to you know, go down a path of drugs and or alcohol to kind of help with that pain that mental health causes. And we've done a real shitty job as a
Yeah.
society in making those people feel like there's help for them and they shouldn't feel shamed or
That's
anything
a good
because
point.
it's no different than any other illness. And so we love talking about it because I feel like the more it's talked about,
Yeah.
the realer it is and the more people feel like, hey, I'm not the only one dealing with this, right? Everyone knows somebody dealing with
Well,
it.
and you know, man, that you make a really good point about the more we talk about it. That's so true because I may not be y'all's age. I'm turning 36 tomorrow, by the way, but I do come from a
Happy
thank you,
birthday.
man. I am old enough. Thank you. I am old enough to know I come from my father was a man that you didn't talk about your feelings. You know, you didn't talk about that.
Yep.
You know, it's that old saying, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and whether you got four bullet holes in you and your back's broken, you just keep going. Or if you're struggling or anything, Lord, it better not be a mental problem because then it's you're weak minded or you're, you know. And
Right.
I just found out really quickly, man. I'm an open book now. If I gotta cry, I'm gonna let them puppies out. If I gotta do, you know what? If I'm happy, I'm gonna be happy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just me, and I'm a hugger, dude. I love people. Look, listen, I tell my buddies all the time, I'll hug them real quick, man. I'll hug the mess out of another man and tell him he's gonna be okay. It ain't nothing but man love, baby. Ain't nothing weird about it. And I feel like people are
Right.
just so scared nowadays, especially men, to be vulnerable and to be open. And what happens is and I want to tell guys out there that are going to be listening to this, look, if you're struggling with depression and anxiety and fear, if you don't let that stuff out, I feel like it's okay. I'm Big Bear's telling you it's all right to just let that crap go because you're gonna become a stick in the mud and ain't nobody gonna enjoy being around you. And I feel for you though because you've just never been told it's okay. And that's where I was at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to be a man and to feel, man. You can feel things and be a dude. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got another best friend of ours that has always said like, "Oh, Scott men don't cry." If you cry, basically like you're a little bitch. And I'm like, no, here's the thing: if you don't cry, you're a little bitch because you're worried
Yeah,
about what other people think of you. I'll cry
dude.
and I'll still punch in your mouth if I
I
need to
love
because
that you're like
I can
that.
express my
Yeah,
feelings.
dude. I listen. I, I'm open to every single emotion nowadays, man. And I have found that being that way is just so much healthier, man. Because when you bottle that crap up, I like to use the example of like a Coke bottle. You just shake that thing up, that lid's gonna blow off eventually. And I just don't want to
Yeah.
be that person. You know,
Right.
I've never been a really angry person. I have to say that my heart has gotten me in trouble a lot. I have a heart the size of Texas, but I'm a lot better for being open and vulnerable. And, you know, yeah, definitely. I love that you guys are like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't carry those
Absolutely.
bricks with you.
100%.
You know.
No,
Yeah, no. Let them out,
yes,
man.
indeed. Man, I'm loving this, guys. We
Nice.
got to do
So
this more often.
yeah, no, this is great. This is the kind of conversations we love to have when we're sitting around with our friends. And that's what, we wanted this podcast to be. We want people listening to feel like, hey, we're all just sitting here hanging out, having a conversation, talking about real
Sitting
life
here.
stuff, music, but life
Right.
too.
Yeah, all day. I completely agree.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Yeah, this podcast that we started was kind of started right here, late nights, just sitting around having conversations and opening up about stuff and sharing feelings, as men and just letting everything out in the open and we've talked about that many times about men aren't supposed to cry, men are supposed to be tough, men are supposed to that, and it's like no, we can let it out and we're better people for it.
I
So
love that y'all have
that's just
created
great,
this.
sitting around having a
Yeah,
conversation.
I love that y'all have created
yeah.
this. I'm really
Yeah,
liking this.
yeah,
This is
it's
awesome.
No, and you were telling us you got a podcast yourself that you're gonna get going, right?
Yeah, I have the name. I'm not going to say what the name of it is just yet, but the good Lord gave me a name for it, man. And when I was going through addiction, I had so many friends that didn't know that there is life on the other side of addiction. And so I already have a name for it. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't care. I have two different options: forward, letter four, WARD, or other side. I'm not sure yet, but I just want to do a podcast, man, kind of like y'all just
Okay.
talked to me and how y'all help people and help men understand that they can feel it's okay to feel emotions. I want people to be able to use my life as an example, and I'm going to go once a month and find other people that have become successful after addiction, because when you're in addiction, you can feel so alone and you can feel like, man, I've messed up so much. No one's ever going to love me. I can't be successful again. I can't. Well, I want to be that person that says, I'm here to tell you, or whatever guest I interview for that month, they're there to tell you, hey, look, there's many examples of people that can find life on the other side of that. I mean, you're looking at me. I don't have a GED or a high school diploma. I have an eighth grade education, and God has totally changed my life. And I'm telling you,
Right.
man, if I can do it, and this is the oldest
Nice.
quote that everybody uses all the time, but if I can do it, I promise you, you can. I'm colorblind. I like to call it dysdexia because I'm dyslexic. That's backwards for dyslexic. I like all that. I'm dyslexic. I'm colorblind. I'm all that. I can't read half good, and Jesus still used me. Okay.
Yeah. No, and that's one thing where music I think can definitely play into that. Obviously, like, Jelly Roll has used his platform to talk about his addiction and choices, and I feel like he has been great for the music industry as a whole to really bring some of that stuff to the forefront,
100%.
to talk about feelings. And you can never have enough people doing that, because at the end of the day, we're all broken,
Oh,
right? In some
golly.
way,
Yeah.
every one of us is broken.
Come on and preach, Matt.
And
Go ahead, bro.
if if we can if we can feel like we're amongst other broken people, that's where we can heal, right? Is we're not feeling like somebody's judging us because we're amongst people like us. And if we're all broken and we're all here, we can all share, and we don't have to worry about who's going to knife us in the back when we walk out of here, right?
Million
Because
percent.
we're all just as broke as the next guy.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I agree with that completely. I got to meet Jelly Roll one time when I was in Nashville. He gives the best hugs ever, and he's also, for the one interaction I had with him, one of the nicest human beings you could ever meet on the planet. So I can say that from what I've seen on TV of his podcasts or of his radio interviews or television interviews, the way he acts on there is exactly how he was when I met him in person. When I met him in person when I first got to Nashville,
Nice.
when I met him, I was in addiction, and I am no longer. But meeting him, he was a glimmer of hope for me even in that moment, and he didn't even know it. So if he sees this, God bless you, dude. I mean, I'm telling you,
Nice.
man, this is
Nice.
this is totally God that I'm on Y'all Need Music today. I'm telling you, this is great.
I believe in that. We don't typically like cover religion, so to speak, but I've got no shame whatsoever in being a Christian at all. And I don't think that Jesse does either. I think he's froze up again. His internet in mid Michigan's not loving us today, but at,
No, it's not.
at any rate, uh, the Lord does work in mysterious ways,
Yes, he
right?
does.
And it took me scrolling TikTok one night when you were doing a live and you talking about a podcast and me saying, you know what, hell with it, I'm going to throw this out there and see if there's something he wants to do. And here we are,
I'm
right? And having
super grateful for the
conversation
opportunity.
that's great, and people are going to watch this or listen to this, however they stream or whatever. And I don't care if it's 1,000 people listen to this, 1,000,000 people. If one person takes something away and doesn't feel alone or doesn't feel in as dark of a place, like then we hit a grand slam,
I'll tell
right?
you, man, I love your
Right.
attitude on that.
Absolutely.
Um, it's all about the one, man. Because that one can
Yeah.
ignite. And I don't want to stay on the scriptures too much and force religion down people's throat because I'm not that person. I don't do that. I mean, obviously, I think one thing that a lot of people love about me is I don't fit the mold. Face tattoos, everything all over me. But I'm sitting here telling you that God can do it, and I just want to be a person. I think that in a lot of ways nowadays, religion, right? Like I can't stand religion. It's all about relationship for me. And so a
Yes.
lot of times I want to be that person. And I think nowadays religion has been so hypocritical and has been so judgmental that it has put a bad taste in people's mouth and they don't want
Absolutely.
to be around it. Now, listen, before all the people on
Right,
here
right.
hear this, and I'm not dogging church, I think you should go to find you a healthy church. That's not what I'm saying. But if you really, and I'm talking to not y'all two, but other people that are going to be listening to this, if you really listen to this, every single person has had an experience where they've been to a church and they felt like they didn't fit the mold or there was a clique and they couldn't get involved in it. And it makes you feel like you're over here and they're the cool people over there with Jesus.
Right.
Well, I don't deal with
Yeah.
that. And the way I am in the gas station, I know the reason Jesus put his hands all over that and blew that up is because you saw a 6'4", size 14 wearing goofy white country boy walk into a hood gas station with every race, creed, color, and background. And that's how heaven's going to look. And it was during a time
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
people were
yeah,
not getting along in this country. And then they could sit there for a second and watch that
absolutely.
and feel joy and peace and his goodness. And they were like, wow, there's something there. Well, what was there was the peace of God, one, and a group of people that don't make no sense anywhere else just make total sense and act like a
Right.
whole family and best friends in a community. That's what blew that up.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm called it.
absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
one of
you're
my favorite one of the favorite TikToks that you did was Tennessee whiskey with Chris Stapleton,
Yeah.
and you walk in there and there's that guy behind you with
He's like,
his son, it must be, and they're kind of like, whoa, like
that
what,
was not a
and
made up
that just,
voice.
I mean, I love that song for one. Right, and that was just like awesome, and it was exactly what you said, that it was all mixes of people, and it's like, they're sitting there watching you like, whoa, this guy can really put it out there, and bringing people together and making it a family, like you said. So absolutely, that was one of my favorite videos that you've put out. I mean, there's been many, but that was one that, like, I've watched it multiple times, and I don't know if that was the first one that I had seen of yours that I started following you on, but it's definitely one that I've rewatched many times because it's just that reaction you get out of those people. It was pretty
I think for
sweet.
a lot of people, and thank you for that, Jesse. I think for a lot of people, it's the reactions, and I love that, man. My whole thing. Don't get me wrong. I love to sing, and I love what I
Absolutely.
get to do now for a living. But you can ask my now fiance. You can ask anybody that's been around me, and this isn't a brag on me thing. I mean, for my birthday today, I was literally talking about can I buy somebody else something for them. And again, I know that sounds like wow, he's really talking himself up. That's not what it is. I There's different love languages, right? My strongest love language is I'm a gift giver. I love gifting somebody something. I get so much joy out of buying somebody a gift and driving over to them. I'm like sitting there dreaming up in my mind what their reaction is going to be like when I show them love and show them I was thinking about them. For me, that's the moment of giving it to them and seeing their reaction is the biggest gift in the world to me. So like
right.
it's just always
That's
been that
awesome.
way. And in the gas station, man, I love seeing their reactions just as much as y'all love seeing them. It's that's how it's always been for me. And if I can give people those little 5 minutes of joy right there, man, it feels great. It really does.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and that's one of the things
Yeah,
that we
that's
love, with the podcast is getting those reactions too. And so, as you know, obviously, us knowing the Walkman story, we always try and reach out to somebody that knows the artist and can tell us a little something. And we like to hit them with something like that to where they're like, where'd that? I've not talked about that in an interview before, or something like, where'd they get
That's
that
good,
from?
man.
We had another guy. We had
who
a
they
up
talking to.
we had an up and coming country singer on, Jake Slay, and we hit him with a question asking about this Crossroads Ranch, and he was just like, his reaction to me was priceless. It was like, wait, what? I haven't thought of that place
Who you
in,
been talking
and
to?
then he's like, man, y'all are gonna make me cry. Like that place was such an important part of my life, and we love that because obviously, Jesse and I are music fans. Like that's what we can't sing. All right, ain't nobody want to hear that. And so
Nope.
we go and watch concerts. We love to watch artists, whether it be on a video or whether it be live or whatever. And that's how we get to share our love of music. But we like those reactions too, and we want other musical fans to be able to, when they listen or watch our podcast, be like, man, I felt like I was there. That was very real. It wasn't this like, let
Right.
me ask you A, and then let me ask you
Yeah,
B, and then you just sit there and answer like a bunch of like random ass questions that 100 other people have interviewed you and asked the same questions. Like
that was
Right.
we
whoever
want to
Right.
we want to dig in and
whichever one of y'all thought of that. That was genius because also what else it does is when you asked me that, it brought me back to that kid that dreamed about being where I'm at right now. So that's really
yeah,
big, and I'm not even where I really
Nice.
want to be completely, but my whole goal for music, man, is just to write music that changes people's day and their life, makes it a little brighter. And of course, you want to write the song that's deep and makes people reflect and think. But it's just so many different emotions that I want to write about that brings people to those emotions, songs that bring them to those places. But you bringing up the Walkman, thank you for doing that. I know my brother had messaged me and go, "Hey, brother, there's this company like asking about this," but he didn't tell me what the question was. So when you asked that, I was caught off guard. So that was really good. Thank you guys.
yeah. Yeah, so he did give us a little more too. So that ain't all of it. He said that you've been known to cut a rug, quite the dancer as well. Then, and you don't necessarily showcase that in the videos.
Look, man, I I like to move, man. I do have rhythm. I like to have fun. I'm a big line dancer, so like Cupid Shuffle. Watch out, you know what I'm saying? And I've just always been that guy
Yep,
that, man, I'm a big kid. I goof around a lot. I like to make people laugh, smile, and feel loved, man. And so that's what I've always done.
that's awesome. No, and that's another thing. That's where for me, like Jesse at least has that advantage. He can dance pretty well, actually. I have two left feet, and I have a voice of not an angel. Uh, but when I but when I have some drinks, I think I can sing really well. And my wife usually has to remind me and say, listen, you are not Toby Keith,
Yeah.
okay? So let's bring the volume down. And but yeah, that's one of my faults when I have some cocktails. All of a sudden I think I can sing, and she's there to keep me in my place and remind me, no, you can't sing.
Well, heck yeah, man. There he is.
He's back
I
again.
don't know what's going on here, man.
Yeah.
Never have issues with this thing, and it's jumping all over the place. So
That's all good, man.
Yeah, today's not been the
no,
best.
it
my
hasn't.
mic my mic didn't want to work at first or something, and then got that
You
figured
know
out,
what?
and now
I'll tell you
you're
what I think it
Who's
is.
running this shoddy podcast anyhow?
I don't think it's that, man. And forgive me because y'all know I love the Lord. I think the enemy, man, don't want us to get these positive messages out there. I'm gonna tell you because
I guess so.
I think this is really gonna affect a lot of people. And I promise
Yeah,
you,
I
it's gonna
guess
get more
so.
than 1,000 plays. We're gonna push this baby. I like this podcast.
well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the devil definitely works in some pretty shady ways. Back in 2010, I went on a mission trip to Haiti, and our pastor's father, who was formerly the pastor of the church that we went to at the time, was going with us. And somehow there was a random popcorn kernel on a flight of stairs the morning we were supposed to be leaving. And he took a fall and wound up in the hospital.
Oh.
Really serious fall. And there was no doubt in my mind at that time that the enemy was working against that trip. And we made the trip anyway. And we made such an amazing impact in the lives of so many people in Haiti. And, I know it made me 100 times better man than what I was before
Man,
going.
I would love to go on a mission trip. It's one of my bucket list. I would really, really love to do that. We try to give back all the time off of the merchandise that we sell, and really out of mine and my fiance's own pocket. And like today, we went and it's not a brag on us thing. I'm saying this because I want other people to experience this in their life. Um, Even if you don't believe in God and you believe in energy, I believe you put out when you put out good, you get good back, or when you put good in, you put good out. And so
Absolutely.
we went today to the women and children's shelter in New Orleans and just gave all the ladies a bunch of beauty products and their own deodorants and their own toothbrushes and their own toothpaste that they could have. And we got them all each their own shampoo and conditioner. And man, it was simple. We went to TJ Maxx, guys, and we just loaded up and
Nice.
we got babe, we got that. We got blankets, we got throw blankets, and man, when we walked out of there, our heart was just like bursting, man. I could only imagine what Haiti was like. That had to be insane,
Yeah.
man. And I would love to do that.
Right.
I would love to do that. Good on you, dude. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was, and I'll tell you what, like as much as that changed my life, I'll tell you one of the proudest moments, kind of, and I'm going to talk about giving a little bit like you have been. Um, I've tried to raise my kids that way, to be givers, not takers, and my youngest son, 2 years ago, I asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and he said, I don't want anything. He says, can we go to the Salvation Army and adopt a family and that be my Christmas present this year?
Proud dad moment.
And
That's
at
right, man.
even right now, right? Like even right
I
now,
see it on your
that
face.
was probably one of the best moments,
Yeah.
for me as a dad. Like, man, this stuff sunk in, and I've raised, good people,
Right.
good human
You're doing
beings
good,
that
man.
want to look out for other people, and you question that a lot of times as a parent, because I'm far from perfect. I've
Oh yeah.
lived a life that definitely, I got the tattoos up and down the arms, and I've done all kinds of sinning in my life, and I wasn't saved until I was 28 years
Yeah.
old. And
Yeah.
so prior to that, I did a lot of stupid things. And you always question, like, man, I'm a failure at a lot of things in life, right? Like, how can I raise another human being to not do that?
Yeah.
Right.
To make better
Come on, man.
choices.
That's good.
And you don't necessarily know until stuff like that happens, when your kids put forward an action and you're like, oh man, that is awesome. Absolutely, we can go do that. We can go adopt a family 100%. Like,
Yeah.
no
Oh,
questions asked.
Right.
Let's
100%.
do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can only imagine you got teary eyed right there, Matt. There we go, man. Talking about those feelings,
I
bro.
did.
That's awesome. That's good,
Right.
man. That's good. I heard
Got to live it, not just talk about it too, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's like,
you had a good point a while ago, Matt. You said, I did a lot of sinning. I'm not the perfect dad. I had a really successful. He's probably one of the, if not the most successful friends that I have as far as the business world and things like that. And he told me the other day, he said, you know, the two biggest things that every child needs from their father is that they know their father's there. You don't have to be perfect, but being there and knowing that you love them, the crap out of them. And that's what it is.
Yep.
You can fail a million times. It's just being there and knowing that you love them. You know.
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of said it before when you talked about how God put you in a place and everything like that. I feel that Matt and I actually we just met 2 years ago,
July will be 3 years.
3 years ago. We're both in our 40s, met 3 years ago, and instantly connected and hit it off. My wife and I we feel like we're good people, and even though we've done, like you said, a ton of sinning in the past,
Yeah.
but we've always tried to help others and try to put everybody else before us. And then meeting with Matt And that guy right there is one of the most gracious people that I've ever met and came encounter with,
Good on you, dude. That's awesome.
because he likes to, one of his famous things that he says all the time is he wants everybody around him to be successful. You know, he wants his friends, he wants his enemies, he wants his, you know, everybody around him to be successful. And that's kind of like how Tosh and I were, and, you know, meeting with him and seeing his views on it was like, hey, there's other people out there like that. And if you can put that out there to the world, and if everybody else can kind of be like that, you know, it's just a very good thing. And I see a lot of that in you, Bear, as far as, you know, everything you're talking about, the stuff that you've done, the giving back and everything like that. So super cool that, you know, there's many people out there that share similar values, as opposed to the naysayers that, you know, most people are like, no, I want to be the successful one, and I want to be more successful than my friends and more successful than the neighbor and this and that. And it's like, why can't we all be successful? I want you to be more successful than me, because that's who I want to hang out with, and 100%. I want to get to that level.
Preach,
so,
bro,
you know, it's awesome to see other people out there that, you know, give back and want to see everybody else succeed, you know, as much as, you know, you have and other people in the world. So awesome.
Man, I love both of you guys, man. I feel like we could hang out and kick it, dude. That's so cool that y'all are like that, man. And, you know, I told someone a long time ago, and I meant this, I'm so happy when my friends succeed. And I feel like if you can't be happy when your peers or your friends or your family or whatever, whoever's close in your life, if you can't be happy when they succeed, how do you expect anybody to be happy when you do? And so
Absolutely.
Listen, I love when people succeed. And I say this all the time. This is not just, again, one of those phony baloney little stupid sayings, but we're all in this together. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, hazel. I can't see color anyway. I'm so colorblind it ain't funny. But I don't care what creed you are, what nationality you are. I don't care what faith you are. I don't care. What I care about is this right here on people. And if you're good to me, I would say if you're good to me, I'll be good to you, but I'm going to be good to you no matter what. And so I just care for people, man. And listen, I am not perfect. I don't want to give off this facade or this image like I'm perfect. I have bad days. I have some of the worst road rage on the planet. I am a very raw and real deal person. You're looking at somebody that is totally a screwed up individual, messed up from the floor up person without Jesus in my life. And so I just try to care for people, man, and treat people the way I would want to be treated. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that why in the last few TikTok videos you put out, you're in the passenger seat?
Yeah, no. Actually, man, no, but that's a good one. Actually, my fiance gets that was a good one. Actually, my fiance, man, she gets very sick, and she gets car sick, and she prefers to drive. Yep. And so it actually helps me because a lot of times when I'm riding, that's where I get inspiration for songs and videos. And then I can post while we're driving. I can post stuff, and because all of my work is from this screen right here nowadays. So yeah, man,
right.
It's been good.
Absolutely.
You know?
So I just want to revert back really quick when Matt was talking about how him and I can't sing at all. I'm a pretty good dancer. That's my claim to fame. But little birdie on the wall told me that one of your secret talents is you're a pretty darn good dancer yourself. So when are we going to see some of that?
You know what? You just gave me an idea to put in my next door video. So I might have to do Cupid Shuffle, sing it and dance to it. I'm more of a line dancer. I'm not going to get out here and like break dance and all that stuff. That's not me. I'm more of a synchronized when there's steps involved. I can do that. I do have rhythm. I'm a drummer.
You can learn
a little bit of a guitarist and a singer. Yeah, I can learn the steps, but you're not going to see me doing that. I'm good at couples dancing. Me and my fiance, we love to dance, and so that always helps.
Nice.
Yeah, guys, dance.
Well, and
dance
for the rest of you that didn't drop their internet connection, we already talked about that, Jesse.
Did you? Well, I wanted to reiterate how good of a dancer he was.
I also gave you credit for
He
being
did.
a good
You
Shot
dancer
it.
did?
Yeah,
He
when
did?
we
he
talked
did,
about it.
dude. He
Oh,
Yep.
did.
wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Jay. Yeah, hooked you up.
So
Love,
yeah, you're gonna
love.
have to watch this one back.
I guess I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Yeah. Well, did you chime into like any of Bear's? I know your TikTok is where you kind of blew up on there, singing a bunch
You're
of other
dropping
people's
out. You're
stuff.
dropping out.
Did you lose
You
me
just
again?
completely cut out. I think you're back now, but you cut out. We didn't hear anything you said.
All right. So what I was saying was, did you touch base on any of Bear's music? I know that your TikTok is where you kind of blew up and singing a lot of other people's stuff. But for those of you guys that don't know out there that are watching this, Bear is on Spotify. And I need to say this because I personally didn't know that you were on Spotify. I've always just followed you on TikTok. I checked out your Spotify and your songs, the more importantly, the Better Off song that you just dropped, absolutely phenomenal. Like, I
Thank you,
mean,
man.
unreal. Like how good. Like you are great on your TikToks and singing other people's stuff, but you were born to sing your own stuff because that was. I mean, it blew the doors off. And we listen to a lot of music and watch a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Thank you,
And
man.
you know that that spot on Step Brothers where he's like, that was like the voice of Jesus and Fergie. Like that
He's like,
was
I can't
it was
even
pretty
look at you right
phenomenal.
now.
Right, right.
God, you're
But
like an
yeah,
angel.
for anybody that hasn't checked that out, you've got to get on there and listen to some of Bear's stuff
Man,
because
thank you, dude.
absolutely
Absolutely.
absolutely
Yes,
phenomenal.
thank
It,
you,
it sounds
guys.
amazing.
I appreciate it,
So
man.
yeah,
Thank you,
you're
dude.
definitely going in the right direction, man. Like it, yeah. I was blown away. So
Means a lot, man. I appreciate it. I really, really do appreciate that, and I thank you very, very much for that.
yeah, no,
and
thank
and
you.
you were saying you're heading out to LA soon to record some
I'm
new
heading out
stuff?
to LA. I can't say what song I'm doing. I'm doing it is a remake of let me just say this. It's a remake of probably one of the most famous songs ever put out. And it's going to
Okay.
shock a lot of people because it's not going to be something you would ever think that I would ever sing. Um,
Oh,
Nice.
and but I pride myself on not nowadays, man. And I'm not knocking anybody. There's just so much auto tune and stuff on everybody's stuff nowadays, and
yeah.
I pride myself on
You listened to
exactly.
our other podcast, didn't you?
I didn't. A lot of
we,
guys, a lot of people in general nowadays use a lot of that. And look, I'm not hating
absolutely.
on anybody or any artist. Just for me, what you hear on Spotify, right? I can sing right now and I'll sound just like my album. And
Yes.
I've always wanted to be that way because there's nothing I dislike more than going to hear like a favorite artist and I've been jamming this one song forever and they open their mouth to start singing and I'm like, that what? I'm like, did you have a stand in to record your vocals for you? Because that does not, I
Right.
can't stand
Yep.
that. I can't, man. And that's why you won't see a lot of artists strip all the lights and the fancy pyrotechnics away and do an acoustic set. And
Yep.
I want my first tour to be an entire acoustic experience where I do Q&A time. I can be intimate with the crowd and sing because you're going to get a very stripped down version of Bear. My fiance's like, ooh, gosh.
Yeah. She's like, all
No.
What
right.
kind of show we doing here?
She looked over at me like, no, but
I'll go to that show.
yeah, I'll go to that show. No, but oh man, you ought to see these girls that come in and comment on my stuff. Oh Lord,
Thirsty.
it's
Thirsty.
so funny, man. Some of the stuff they say, man, I'm just like, and I mess with Ashley. I'm like, hey babe, Sarah in Egypt or whatever thinks I'm hot. I like mess with her. It's like I'll do it just to be aggravating. But yeah, man.
Nice.
I'm excited. I'm going out to LA next week. I have 2 people on my team. One of them is my manager, and the other one's like a mentor. They are 2 incredible people, and I just signed a deal. I can't say who it's with, but I signed a production deal with somebody, and just know that big things are coming, and I am very, very excited.
Nice. That's
We'll
Yeah,
that's
have to
that
awesome.
we'll have to do a follow-up interview on here, man.
Oh, hell
yeah, I'm
yeah.
intrigued that now I want to know what this song is
Right,
because I'm
right,
like, I love when an artist like goes from the box that people have put him in, right? And then they'd like just bust out of that and do something way over
Yeah.
here. And you're like, holy hell, they just killed that.
right.
And they shouldn't have
Well,
based on my perception
well,
of them.
listen, Matt. I'm hoping that you go, holy crap! They just killed that, or he just killed that with this one. I'm very excited about this song. When they approached me with the idea for doing it, I was like, and then I stopped for a second, and then I sang it and did it. I like making things my own. I always still
Yep.
give props
Yep.
to the original. I don't like me personally. I've There are very few times in history when someone has redone a song and it was just as good, if not better. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of times where people mess up is they try to make something that was already so great so different that people are
Right.
like, ugh. Sometimes it works, but on this one, we're sticking to the roots of it. I think it's going to be very, very stripped down version, and it'll just really show off my vocals a lot. And I'm very excited about it. I'm not trying to tease y'all. I
That
promise.
Nice.
I'm just really excited.
yeah.
Do we have a time frame on when this might
I
be
I will be
released?
dead honest. I don't even know that yet. Obviously, just because
Right.
we are just
Okay.
now getting out there next week. How long has it been now, babe, since I signed my deal? A week and a half? A week? It's been 1 week since I signed my deal. And what I
Oh,
love
okay.
Okay.
about these people is I signed with them and I said, listen, I don't want to sign a deal. And there's this thing now where artists will get signed and then the label will shelf them and won't do anything with them for a while. And I was
Right.
like, I
Yeah.
don't
Right.
want that. And they're proving it. Man, I've only been signed for a week and I'm already recording next week. So it's like they're
That's
moving quick.
awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm a person that I want to work. I want to get it done. I want to rock and roll. And I'll be
Right.
honest with y'all. In the past, I will totally be honest about this. I was probably the worst employee you could have ever had in your life because I'm that dude that sang all day long. That's for real. And it's because I this is what I was always meant to do. And so every
yeah.
job I ever
Yeah.
had, I worked hard. I just was always in my mind, I was on stage somewhere. I wasn't welding. You know what
Nice.
I mean?
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so I'm a big believer in do what you were put here to do. Find that thing you were
Absolutely.
meant to do and do that. Because I work
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
harder now than I ever did when I worked in the plants. And that's a hard job, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like I work ever. That's the truth. I'm
Nice. You're doing what you
Nice.
seriously,
love.
I'm
Doing what you
blessed,
love.
man. I do what I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and
That's
that's like this podcast for us, right? Is we make nothing at this yet. But like that's the level we're at, right? And we just put money out, put money out, put money out. But this is what I really enjoy is I love meeting artists. When I go to concerts, I
Yeah,
love those kind of intimate shows you were talking about where the artists talk about stuff and you get to connect with them more. And I know so many other people are that way. And it's like, let's bring this to the people. Let's get these artists and talk
get
to
them
them
known. Right.
and let other people feel that connection and really get to enjoy because I tell you what, I always enjoy somebody's music more when I hear the stories behind it, when I've met them and I realize like, man, not only are they great but they're an awesome human being too because a lot of times as a fan
yeah.
there's this disconnect
Oh, yeah.
from Bear Bailey the singer and then Bear Bailey the human being,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And so when I can bridge that gap and I can like your music and then I can meet you and talk to you and I'm like this dude's cool as shit, then it's like
We're gonna
there's
hang
no
out.
gap in that bridge
Yeah,
anymore and it's like man, now when I listen to his songs, it's that much better.
it's awesome,
And
man. It's a good way to put
I
that.
feel like that real connection to the person.
Right. Right.
That's a really, really good analogy. Really good way to put that. I've just always wanted to put out positivity, man, good vibes, and you can feel energies on people, man. I get around people and I can feel usually within the first 5 minutes. I don't dislike the person, not like I hate the person or anything. I just like, well, today they're not in a great mood. I don't want to be around that. You know what I mean? So I've always
Sure.
wanted to
Right.
Yeah.
put out
Yeah.
just, I want people to walk away from me and I want them to be like, you know what, that dude's solid, man. I had a good time and he made me feel okay and loved and happy. And I really strive for that. That's not just me saying that. I have my off days. You know, I'll be honest, there's probably fans I've met in the past that probably thought I was a total butt, and I'm not. We have off days like anybody else, you know. I
Sure.
try to tell
Sure. Yeah.
people I try to tell people that all the time. You know, my life changed overnight. I got a crash course in this. I didn't know how to
Yeah.
act. I don't know how to, and now I have
Right.
learned now that my circle's about that big now. It has to be. And
Mm-hmm.
privacy, that's out the window. And so I
Gone.
have to
Yeah.
have, I mean, because we broke 2 weeks ago, we broke 5 million followers across Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And I'm thankful for that. I want it to keep
Mhm.
growing. That's awesome because I want to spread positivity and love, but there's just been it's been a learning curve. There's been a lot of things that I've had to learn, and it's not I had to learn in the past. I met someone in the past, and I'm not comparing my. I don't think I'm an A-lister or anything like that, guys. I don't think I'm better than anyone. But I met someone who's a big timer coming up. When I was coming up, I met them, and I just thought they were total buttholes, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm somewhat in it, again, I don't think I'm up here or nothing. But now that I have that millions of followers, um, now I understand. You know what? That dude probably could have had a bad day. I don't know what he was dealing with. I don't know if his wife maybe called him before the show and he could have lost a family member or huge argument with his spouse or because I got bills like everybody else. People, it's funny. That's another thing. I'm sorry if
Right.
I'm on a tangent, guys, but
No, you're
No, you're
good.
that's
good.
another thing, guys. I live a very humble lifestyle. People think that I'm this like super gazillion millionaire. Dude, this is look, Walmart,
That's an
$8, okay?
awesome shirt.
Eight
I like
dollars,
it.
right? Um,
I like it.
I drive a 2014 Kia. I rent, I don't own. Like people and I think sometimes I'm somebody that's gonna keep it 100% real or where I'm from, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I am me. I am not a baller. I don't have this endless bank account. I hustle and work and I make my own opportunities with Jesus. Jesus helps me make those opportunities. But guys, I am a simple dude that happens to have a lot of followers, loves what he does, and loves putting a smile on people's face. And that's it. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's me all day.
This
I
is
love
this
that
is
though.
this is something like Matt was saying. Like, we don't monetize or anything like that with this. We're not that big, but this is something that we love about it. And doing this podcast and hearing that come out of your mouth like that just makes this all worth it. And
Oh
and
yeah,
it's so good to hear, how humble you are as an artist, and who somebody who could be, step out of that limelight, and or step out of the comfort zone of where you're at, and be kind of, like you said, a butthole. And that's just so cool to hear that, you're just keeping it so real to yourself. Like, I absolutely love that. Matt and I, we love seeing up and coming artists, and the intimacy of those kinds of
yeah.
shows. And I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to absolutely kill it. And it makes me even more happy that you said that you're going to strip it down. Well, strip down bare, but strip it down and just do acoustics, because we've talked on the podcast before about how, yeah, you go to see somebody and it's completely different from what you hear.
Yeah,
And for you to like step out there and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, you're already calling it out. Like, this is what you're going to hear. You're going to hear me,
yeah,
which is just, not a lot of artists do that. They, some step out there and it might be similar to what you hear on Spotify or on YouTube or anything like that. But for you to just come out and be like, nope, this is how I'm going to do my tour. it's just going to be me out there just raw grinding away. That's just, it makes this podcast and all worth it to hear someone like yourself, talk like that. That's just so cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate. I don't get me wrong. I'll have some full band shows, and I'm all about that. But even then, I look. I just want to sound like I do on my album. That has been something that has been huge for me my whole life. And my dad's era, his generation, those guys were the real deal musicians. And I'm not saying we don't have that today, because we do. But I want to get back around to just authenticity,
Yeah.
not being afraid to say the unpopular thing, but it's the real thing. And
Yeah.
that's where I want to be with things. And so
Preach.
that's who I am. That's what I want to be, is authentic. And that's me. I had someone hop on my live the other day, and they asked a personal question, and most artists or people that have followers like me would shy away from the question, but it was about my ex. And I'm still legally actually married, and still going through that divorce process. I didn't cheat on her or anything like that. We just, sometimes two people, man, they fall out of love, and sometimes things don't work. I wish her the best,
Absolutely.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
she's a wonderful mom. I wish her the best. We just did not work out. I waited until, uh, man, it was almost a year until I met my now fiance. And this year, when the divorce is finalized, me and her getting married. But I love putting that out there and
Nice.
being honest, and just telling people that, hey guys, um, I'm not some scumbag. I didn't just run out on her or nothing like that. It didn't work out,
Right.
and I have moved on. This is her and my bonus son right here, who I love to pieces, and this is our beautiful family. I have a little girl that I don't get to see as much as I would like to, and I'm hoping that all of that gets fixed this year. And again,
Nice.
wish my ex nothing but the best. We just weren't the best for one another. So,
Sure.
And listen, like I feel like when you tell your own story and you're an open book like that, it takes the narrative away from the people that love the salacious
Right.
oh
rumors,
yeah,
right?
Right.
yeah,
People would people would much rather hear some like crazy dramatic story, right? But when you're like, no, I'm taking that away from you, and here's the facts. Some people actually get mad at that because it's not as great of a
yeah.
story as they want. But
What
like
they got in
the
their
real
head.
people, are going to be like, okay, cool. Like,
Right.
all right, I was married to my current wife one other time. Like me and my wife were married, we got divorced, went apart, and then sometime later we started
That's
talking
awesome,
again,
man.
got back together, and ended up getting married again. And people are like, that's crazy, and it's like, hey, this world we live in is crazy, this life is crazy, we're all struggling to find our own way. And
Yeah,
like, none of us have ever done it before, right? So every day is a new lesson. We're learning
yeah.
how to
Yeah.
coexist with another human being in all these different ways. And sometimes it doesn't work. And that doesn't mean that anybody is a bad person at all. It's just, you know, oil and water, two different,
Well,
liquid substances. They don't
I
work
like how you
together,
said we're
but
all doing it.
separately they're
I love how
fine.
you said we're all learning it for the first time, because that's what life is. Every day, we're all learning it. I mean, it's the truth. And, but it was so
Yeah.
funny how, and I laugh at it now. In the beginning, I didn't know how to handle it, and I would let it get to me. But nowadays, when people say hateful things, I literally just, honestly, I'm not even kidding. I laugh at it. And I've had to learn how to do that. But like when I posted the first picture of me and you, we'd been together, what, a year by that point? And I think me and Ashley met probably 6 or 8 months after me and my ex-wife split. And me and my ex-wife have been estranged for 2.5 years now, you know. But it was so funny how when I posted the
Right.
picture with Ashley, which did not even know me, didn't have social media or anything, the night she met me, she wouldn't give me the time of day. And
Oh
but
wow.
I was so in love with her when I met her. And I can remember exactly what she had on. She had on a white pantsuit with nude shoes, and for a colorblind dude, that's good to remember that. And I'm red green deficient, so I can see those two colors. And
Okay.
anyway, so we met and then waited a whole year until I posted anything because I'm trying to protect her too. You know, I got millions of followers at this point.
Right, right,
And at that point, she was loving me even through addiction. I was missing the crap out of my kid. So I was struggling with alcohol and addiction and just, you know, just coping with the wrong things. And I'm so happy that I can stand here and God has placed my feet, Jesus has placed my feet on a firm foundation. I'm so much happier, man. I'm such in a good place and I'm just authentically me. But people saw a picture of me and her when I first put it, and they were like, "Look, I knew it." You know, all the housewives that sit at home and watch Bravo all day long. You know,
yep,
it's like
yep.
I knew he would just leave the one that helped him start it all, and I'm like, y'all have no clue what you're talking about, but keep on going.
And probably half of those women are married and then sliding into your DM saying stuff they
Oh,
shouldn't, but
dude,
they're
you'd
quick
be
to throw
blown
stones.
away.
Oh
And
yeah.
then most of them, it was ones that, and I'm not picking on them for this, but it was most of them that had failed marriages. You never know. Maybe their husbands had done something on them. And so now they see
Right.
me and they're
Yeah.
like, look, that's my
Everybody does
ex-husband.
it.
He's doing just like my ex. He's a piece of trash.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here like,
Yep.
dude, you have
Yeah.
no clue. When the truth of it was, is look, I could have done things better in my last marriage. She could have done things better. Like Matt said, we were just two people, kids trying to work it out, and it didn't work out.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right. Yep.
Right. Well, and that's the thing that, we've talked about this previously too, is like we have to be able to give other people
Oh
grace,
man, you're right.
right? And so many people love to just sit back and throw them stones, but they don't stop long enough to think like I can still fuck up myself.
Right. What if I was in that
100%.
situation?
I'm
That's
45 years
good, dude.
old, all right? And I know that I can still screw up. I'm not above thinking that. And so you know what? When I do screw up, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of
Oh yeah.
when. All right. And I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to screw something up. And I want people around me to be like, you know what? I'm going to give him grace because I know that's not who he is. That's one action where he messed up. That's not Matt
Yeah.
as a person. And so when I look at other people and, maybe you're throwing a chair off a restaurant on Broadway in Nashville, right? And some people want to jump on your back. I'm going to give you grace and say, you know what? None of us is perfect.
Right.
All right. Everyone messes up and we're all capable of doing that in our life. And what we need to be doing is showing each other that grace and that love and saying, hey, you know what? I've not walked a foot in your shoes, let
Yeah.
alone a mile in them. So I'm not
You
about to
know,
judge
you,
choices that you
that's very
make.
true. You know, man, I got to meet Morgan one time and actually two times in Nashville. And a lot of people listen, I am not comparing myself to him. I'm nowhere near his level, okay, of followers or anything like that. But imagine being him. And in country music right now, I don't care what nobody says, he is king as far as the numbers that he's putting out, as far as everything,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Imagine
Yep.
being him and imagine when he goes through personal struggles. Imagine how hard it is to be him and be under that
Right.
magnifying and
Oh, under a
be under
microscope
that microscope.
constantly.
So who's to say I wouldn't
Yep.
throw a chair off of a rooftop? Or who's to say I wouldn't,
Yeah.
act out? Or who's to say I wouldn't maybe cope in that type of way? I just pray the dude's okay and wish him nothing but the best. And knowing about
Absolutely.
a 0.5% of what he deals with on a personal level, and when I say knowing 0.5%, I mean understanding from my point of view because I have a lot of followers as well, nowhere near him, but
Right.
under having a little bit probably better understanding than y'all would of it, I can say who's to say I wouldn't do something like that, you know?
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I've
So I can, I, you
go
know,
ahead.
Oh, I'll say I'll tell this little story real quick, and then we'll let you go because we don't want to steal your whole night away from your
I
lovely
love hearing it,
fiance.
man.
But back in 2007, and I don't tell this story often because I hate when people like when Jesse chimes in and he's like, "Oh, Matt's an awesome dude." I hate that stuff personally. It makes me feel really awkward. And so I'm just me. I'm a regular dude. I'm nothing special. I'm not better than anybody. Nobody's
Yeah,
better than me. But in 2007, I donated a kidney to a complete stranger, and
that's
it started
so
the world's
freaking
first
cool.
chain effect of transplants. And so her husband then a week later flew to Ohio and gave a kidney to another stranger, and then that girl's
Dude,
mom
look at you,
gave a
man.
kidney to another stranger, and so on and so forth. And so the media kind of made a big to do out of it, and tons of interviews, was in like People magazine and stuff. All right.
Good on you, man.
And I'm like a grain of rice on your floor in comparison, right? With the attention that that got in comparison to like how big you are. And I couldn't even go to our local Walmart without people being like, "Oh, you're the kidney dude." And it was like, "Would y'all just leave me
Right,
alone?
right,
Like I'm just trying to get some groceries.
Yeah.
Like that's it." So to have that like constantly for years, I couldn't even imagine, nor do I want to imagine what that's like to have everybody watching
right,
your every
right.
move with everything you do and everywhere you
Well,
go.
I can tell you like this. I'll say this to you, and then we can get off here. But I'll tell you like this. Um, it's the best way I can say it. When you like even me now, I'm under a magnifying glass as well, and I have people that stop me everywhere I go. And again, I mean that in a humble way. I don't mean it in a bad way. And guys, look, 85% of it is incredible interactions, and I love those people. But you have that other 15% of people that can be really rude, right?
Yep.
Hate you for no reason, have formed an opinion of you.
Mhm.
My favorite one is I'll be sitting down eating. My mom has been sick, and she's getting better with the grace of God. But we've been in restaurants, and they literally just walk up to me, interrupt the whole meal, and they're like, "Sing." Don't even say, "Hey, would you sing?" It's just sing. "Hey, bear, sing." Like, and then I am me being nice, right? Having that big heart. I've learned through interactions like that now, I'll carry shirts and a Sharpie around because what I've tried to do now is I'll go in those moments, I'll say, well, hey, if you let me finish my meal, when I'm finished, I'll not only sing for you, I'll let you record it and I'll shout you out and you can share it on your pages and I'll give you some merch and I'll sign something for
That's
you,
awesome.
you know?
Yeah.
But even then, when I've done that, I've had people go, I knew you'd be an a hole, just total. And you have to, oh, I know, and you have to deal with that. And then the other thing is you have people come out of the woodworks that I've never even met lie against you. You have people that I have met totally lie against you and make up falsified stories. And then
Mm-hmm.
I've had girls that I have not even shared 2 words with in the past say that we've dated when we never did. Just crazy crap.
Right.
And it's
Right.
you're so under the magnifying glass. And I've never understood the appeal of lying like that about somebody, but you get those things. And that's why I have so much understanding and I try to give grace for other artists and people out there that maybe make a mistake or mess up. Imagine being okay, let's put it like this, and then I don't want to take up y'all's time. Imagine being like on
Hey, you're good.
a Michael Jackson level, right? That
Right.
dude is
Right.
known. I'm known here in the States and around the world to a small degree. That dude was known everywhere. Okay,
Worldwide.
your
Right.
great
Right.
grandma knows who that is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
then imagine them dealing with pain, but they don't really have an outlet because you can't trust anybody anymore. And then when you
Right.
do
Yeah.
mess up, or let's say anything, who's to say, like I said a while ago, that I wouldn't chunk a chair off a roof, or that I wouldn't do?
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
what you would do. You know,
Right.
when you're dealing
Right.
with it on
Yeah.
that type of degree or that type of level, all that pressure coming down on you of God, I'm hurting so bad on the inside, but I can't show it because I'm under a magnifying glass or I'm
Right.
doing this and that. Who's to know if you wouldn't implode or have an explosion or have it? So yeah, have
Right.
grace, man, for sure. Grace all day, grace
Yeah.
always wins.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and who are you supposed to talk to either? Because like, are you going to go talk to somebody that may even be a therapist, but they're going to go sell some story to TMZ or something because they're feeling like, oh, I'm going to just make a buck on this or something.
Right. Absolutely.
You get it, dude.
Yeah.
And
One of
then
the
another trend that you see all the time, like Russell Brand and all these people, as soon as they start even trying to expose who they really are as a person, which I think is awesome, or talk about their faith, or talk about anything, then they get all these allegations against them. Then they get all this stuff against them,
yeah.
which is totally false. But it's like, then
Yeah.
think about that. Then it tells other celebrities and other people that have a large following like me, it tells us we don't have not one safe space or safe place. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah, I always never understood it, just because I never lived it or experienced it. But I'll take it back to an Eminem quote from one of his songs a long time ago, where he says that I can't even take a shit in a public bathroom without some fan knocking on it, and it was like, wow, like, yeah, I guess when you get to that level, yeah, you have no privacy. You're under that
Yeah.
microscope, like you can't do anything. So like you said, who's to say that we wouldn't implode, or if
Yeah.
you're dealing with that much pressure
Yeah.
and you got some one little thing goes wrong in your life, uh, dog dies or something like that, where is your outlet at?
Yeah.
And who's to say how you're going to react when you're under that much scrutiny and that much pressure? So
Well, and I'll say this, and then
grace is good.
I'll say this, and I'll let you go. I'm nowhere near an Eminem or a Morgan or their level. I'm not even close to that. I'm not even putting myself in their ball
Yet.
field. I'm not. And I tell you, that's why I've learned, though, like I told y'all way back in the beginning or middle of this podcast, whatever. I said I keep my circle this small. I've learned now, and I've had to learn through, unfortunately, friends stabbing me in the back that I thought never would, doing all that during this, then being around people. As soon as I get around them I haven't seen in years, it's, hey, so I'm starting this thing and I was wondering if you'd share it for me. You get that stuff all the time. So then look, there's nothing wrong with that. I help my friends. But when I ain't seen you in 10 years and the first thing out of your mouth when we see each other for 5 seconds is, how can I help you with
Yep.
my social media platform? It just
Right.
feels kind of
Right.
gross and sticky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, me,
Oh
I've
yeah.
got a big heart. So what do? I help them. But
Right.
it kind of makes me feel like, who's really my buddy or my friend out there? So
Right.
I now have my true friends, which I'm so thankful for. And I now understand that quote my grandpa told me forever. He said, son, it's better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And then he said, 4 quarters that amount to
I
so
like that.
much more by themselves. You know what I
I
mean?
like that.
And so that's what I have now. And it's truthful. I really have about 4 or 5 very good friends that tomorrow are dropping everything to go play golf with me for my birthday. And that's how I do it now. I have my people I can call. I have my pastor I can call, who's like a dad to me. And my dad, he's the only dad I know. He stepped in and chose to be a father to me um, when nobody else could. And he married my mom, and he's a wonderful man. And he's been my example of how to treat a lady. And he's just been great. Guys, I've had the best freaking time with y'all, man. This has been like a
Man,
dadgum
thank
Man, thank
you.
you
series.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes,
I
indeed,
just
man.
wrote that
Eh,
down. That was a great quote by your grandpa, by the way. That was awesome.
Man,
Yeah, dropping some grandpa
Yeah,
wisdom there at
that's
the
awesome.
end.
I had
That's
to I
the
had to write it down on my little scratch pad here. That was great.
it's the truth, man.
yeah, when you get to be our age, you won't remember shit.
I can tell that y'all are 2 quarters. I can tell, man. Y'all are good people.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
I
you.
love that, man. And I tell you what, man, I know if we live closer, we'd probably be kicking
Oh,
it
we'd
with
be
you on
hanging
the
out all the
regular
time, dude.
because you're our kind of people. So
Absolutely. 100%.
again, thank you for taking time out of your night for us
Thank
and
y'all.
for the people that listen and watch the
Yep.
podcast. And and just really appreciate it, hearing your
Thank
story
y'all.
and being able to have real conversations at the end of the day. And you know, celebrity status or not, like, to me that just feels good. Like I'll go in and talk to my wife tonight and I've got a full heart,
Right.
right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
we've
Me
had
too.
real
Me too.
conversation
Yeah.
and I love that.
Hey
So
guys, I will tell
um
you this, man. To anybody listening, and I'm not just saying this because it's what I'm supposed to say, because I am going to promote y'all's podcast, of course, especially after being on it and seeing how real it is. To whoever's listening, guys, y'all need to follow these guys. This was tremendous for me. It was like a therapy session, It didn't feel like some guided tour talk with all the little scripted questions. None of this was scripted, actually. And I thought that this was extremely amazing. And I just appreciate you guys. There's one thing that I always do before I get off the phone now, because you never know when your last conversation with someone is going to be. Would you mind if I just let us out in prayer right quick?
There's there's three of
Let's
us,
rock and roll.
Absolutely.
so
Here we go.
we
All
got
right.
it.
Dear Lord, I just pray that you touch Matt and Jesse tonight. I pray that your hand would rest all upon them. Dear God, your Bible says that you give us charge over your angels. So I pray right now, dear Lord, that you would send ministering, healing, warrioring, and guardian angels all around them and their families. I pray your peace over them, gird up the loins of their mind, and I just plead your blood over them. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
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 That
God
was awesome.
bless.
Thank you so
See
much,
y'all, man.
man. Love you.
Love y'all.
Uh, everyone, check him out. You can check him out on TikTok. You can check him out on Instagram. You can check him out on Facebook at Bear Bailey. He's got music on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you stream your music from. If you've not heard of him yet, you've probably been under a rock somewhere. So come out from underneath it,
Yep.
enjoy the
Yep.
light, and check out some Bear Bailey. And dude, you'll have to let us know when this new one's
Yeah.
dropping, because I'm still over
Absolutely.
here like mind going like, where are we going to
Let's
go with
get it,
this? I
man.
want to
Let's
be on
get
this
it. Let's
ride.
And
get
I'm
it.
like, when's
So,
his tour dates? I want to see these tour dates. We got to
I'll
get
find
tickets.
out
I want to
soon.
be there.
right.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again. And we'll catch you next time on
Y'all Need Music podcast.
Y'all go check them out. Peace.